forms. So IMS, just to give you some background on us, we've been in business for over 30 years. We're one of Kodak's top integrators in the United States. We are also one of ABBYY's 18 platinum resellers in the country. So we work with them a great deal on data capture. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Our company really is a capture-based company. I've been doing this a long time, and we're always, for the most part, focused on the front end. How do you efficiently get documents and data into your document management system or into your workflow? So, professional services, integration. The other thing is that most of what we do is very customized to our clients, and we really try to do the best we can for them. We always talk about spending their money like it's our money, and really do follow that principle here at IMS. For that reason, most of our customers that we've had for a very long time. So we really are focused on helping them doing the right thing. To get straight to the insurance side of it, there are certainly many challenges for you as you process and work with information and data coming into your organization. The influx of electronic documents is growing rapidly, as you're all very aware. The number of documents coming into organizations is still growing, while maybe not so many are still coming in as paper like they did in the past. You're still getting an enormous amount of documentation, and them now are coming as PDFs that someone has already scanned or already created somewhere. But at this point, it's just a dumb image. You have to get the information off of it. Argued paper documents coming in, faxes, you still have to be able to process and get completed. Minimize the spend identifying document types and doing document prep as you get ready to scan them or as you're sorting them as they're coming to you electronically. Reduce the amount of time you spend on manual data entry, which is always a very high cost within any organization. Data capture accuracy, making sure that you're getting good data as you're entering it or capturing it along the way. There's no mistakes. Here that I think there's a lot of fun, and that is, we live in a fast-paced world today. So your business processes need many times to keep up with what customers expect from a turnaround standpoint and getting back to them and get their application or whatever might be processed. And so things that we're all working very hard to be faster at what we're doing to meet our customers' expectations. Of course, anything that has to do with insurance, there's compliance and the penalties around it if you don't get things processed or completed in a timely fashion. So these are challenges that we're going to talk about, and in those challenges, we're going to talk about some of the different types of documents that come to you and the kinds of things that we can extract information from. So we kind of break documents down into three categories. First one is fixed forms or structured documents. So that's something that comes in and looks the same all the time. You have enrollment forms, you have claim forms, surveys, change requests. These are all specific forms that you know exactly on the page where a piece of data is going to be located. So options today allow you to look in those specific areas and read that information electronically, not having to do manual data entry. So second type of documents that you receive in are what are called semi-structured documents. Documents where you know what data is going to be on the form, but really know where it's going to be located at. So these are things like an invoice, EOB, which comes to you, purchase orders, some types of claims. If they're printed electronically, they may have claim information on them, but they may not be on any specific form. So this is where the greatest growth in the technology has been over the last few years, and that's the ability to read this information and find it on a document no matter where it's located. And then documents that come to, we kind of classify those as unstructured. There are things like correspondence, letters, in the insurance you receive all types of these every day. People are electronic documents, they're emailing you, they're asking different questions or looking for different services from you. And up till now, this has always been very difficult to work with, but there are some things today that we'll show you that can help with those types of documents as well. So those are the three types of documents that can be structured. And this is what I talk a little bit about is from ABBYY. This is specifically about ABBYY and the presentation and the demo that we're going to show you later. But you could also, this is the available technology today. These are things that you should be thinking about as you look at your business process that you might be able to implement to improve how you're doing it. And while we hope you would like to work with IMS and ABBYY, just kind of take this as this is more of an education about what is also available just in the marketplace. So ABBYY itself was founded in 1989. It is a software solution house. One of the great things about them, it's not part of some conglomerate like a lot of the other software companies in our industry now are. With all the mergers and acquisitions that have taken place in this space, ABBYY still remains one of the few standalone software houses out there. Over 2,000 employees, they're global, lots of implementations, collecting lots of data. With a lot of big customers and people that you would recognize. So that's the solution we're going to talk about today. And the solution is called FlexiCapture. The idea behind FlexiCapture is I can input any number of documents, and they can be different types, TIFFs, PDFs, JPEGs, whatever they might be. I'm going to look at them. I'm going to determine what type of document that it is. I'm going to extract the data from it. Figure out what type of document that I'm looking at. Once I've done that, I'm going to extract the pertinent data off of that document. And then I'm going to send that along to my workflow, to my imaging system, wherever you might want to send it. So this is a big solution, though, that can really improve the process that you have getting documents into your system and in the organization, getting the data off of them so that you can do something with it to get it processed and completed and turned around. So features of FlexiCapture, it's accuracy and speed. ABBYY actually provides the engine that the majority of software vendors in this space use to read the data off of the documents. So technology is state-of-the-art. It is leader in reading OCR and ICR work. And as I said, most of the big players in this game use their engines to actually read the data off of the documents. Automate the document classification. Figure out what type of document it is. Put the page together that go together. So all the separation that you need to do with patch sheets or barcodes or those things. And pass those along to the appropriate workflow. You can do OCR, ICR, OBR, OMR, and we'll talk a bit more about that, but this is just the base nuts and bolts of getting the data off of the document cleanly so that I can do something with it. This solution will scale from departmental processing all the way up to an enterprise solution. It has kind of a universal support, so we can put a system in place in an organization, and one department be doing forms processing, maybe enrollment forms. We could be over across the hallway doing claims. We could be down in the other building actually reading data off of invoices. So one solution can spread throughout your organization, and it doesn't become a silo within a specific department. It's really a great quality in this solution. Finally, you can run this either as a thick client or a thin client. So if you have remote workers or people in set offices, regional offices, you can actually scan, validate data, do all those things via a web interface, or you can also do it through a thick client on your network. So here's a basic drawing of kind of the system. If you look on the far left, here we have the setup and administration and monitoring. Those are all tools that sit outside the system that we can What happens is we start with the input. So we need documents into the system. Those can be done by scanning a client. They could be scanned through a web client. They come from an MFP or any type of scanning device that you may have. The other view is we can monitor email addresses. So if you have emails coming into a particular email address, we can always watch that, grab the documents out, and pull them and start them through the process. FlexiCapture, which has become probably in the last 2 years one of the most talked about technologies in the marketplace today, and that is how can I give my workers the ability with their phone to take a document and upload it into the process just like I had scanned it, down the office. So that's a very, very important part of where this technology and really where the business environment is moving, is including mobile technology. So documents input, so we've grabbed them, we run them through the recognition, we determine what document types they are. We person then the opportunity to verify the data that we've collected, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. And once that information has been verified, we can export it out to your systems, workflows, databases, whatever they might be. So that's kind of how the system lays out. It gives you some sense of the flow of the process. So going back to what our business challenges are, how do I handle the influx of electronic documents, and how do I continue to handle my scanned documents and faxes? So ABBYY gives you the ability with scan stations to continue to scan paper documents. So as they come to you, they can be scanned either through a client or through a web client to be scanned. You ability to set up all the image cleanup and things of that nature, separation, etc. The thing, get these documents, this really pertains to your electronic documents that are coming to you. So we can have ABBYY monitor folders, some watch folders for documents that are being dropped in as electronic PDFs or JPEGs or TIFFs. We can monitor email addresses, and as those emails come into the address, we can pick those up, grab the attachments, and start them into the process. And again, we also work with all the multifunction machines. So this technology gives you kind of a certain processing that's uniform across all of your business units. It's really a matter of, no matter how it comes to you, it can start it right away and into the process. So that's kind of with these type systems help you manage all that influx of electronic documents. And we'll talk as we go through and how it affects them in other ways. So the second challenge we want to talk a little bit about is I think the time spent identifying document types and prepping documents. So the process is once we scan the documents into the system, we're going to look at them and classify them. And we can determine what they are based on how they look or their content. We can do a single page or multiple pages. And then we count those based on the document types along your different workflows that you may have or the different business processes that you may have. So this is really fairly new, and this is the ability to classify documents in multiple ways. And ABBYY has intelligent classification now, which is a new technology that will allow you to separate documents based on content. So we'll talk a bit about that. But in classification within ABBYY, there's different ways you can do it. One is the old-fashioned, I guess, as we might say, and that would be using barcodes, patch sheets, separators to separate document sets, so that the pages that go together get kept together, processed together. The thing is, we can actually look at the document and tell by form how it just looks, how it's laid out, and identify it by that recognition. So if you look at, for instance, a W-2, or if you look at a I-9, if you look at any document that you can look at what it is, ABBYY can be taught to do the same thing. So that visual recognition of the pattern of the document allows us to separate and classify it by. It's content-based, and this is where I think in the insurance market there's a really exciting opportunity for you, because now we can look at the documents, read the words from them in their context, be able to tell what the customer is asking for, what they're looking at, so that I can then separate and classify those documents differently and route them to different departments. Really cutting-edge technology and something that I think is going to greatly affect the insurance business for sure in processing documents in the future. And then rules-based classification, where we can take different pieces of information that we read, whether it's a dollar amount, whether it's a city or state, whether it's whatever it might be, that I can take, based on that rules, I can enter the document into a workflow. So this is content classification. You can see up at the top, like the insurance claim, where you see where like my car was damaged, accident. It can look at any incoming correspondence and based on that type of information, route that to a claims specialist because it sees words in it that refer to an accident. You had a contract problem, a cancellation. So again, looking for words and saying, oh, this person is upset, they want a cancellation. I can get that routed to the appropriate department. So here is kind of a really great new technology that we just haven't seen yet. And I think that there's a lot of application for this, and especially in insurance. Be done with emails that are coming into customer service type email boxes. And again, we can look at the words and the statements within the email and classify them and route them along based on the content. It has a lot of ability to, kind of relationships between different nouns in the email, so I can tell a person's name and their address, or a person's name, their car, or a car and its type. A lot of ways that it can do those things, and again, help you buy these documents and get them to the right place. And anyone wondered, that is not an English Outlook screen, so not the only one that was I sat and thought, what in the world are they doing? But this must be a European presentation that they converted from the U.S. Okay. So moving from some of the business challenges, okay, next thing we're going to look at is how we reduce the time spent doing manual data entry, and how do I improve my accuracy? The FlexiCapture product, once I'm looking at the documents, I can do things like read printed text in 100 different languages. I can also do handprint or ICR, which we see that a lot in enrollment forms and surveys and things of that nature. I can do marks. I can read barcodes. I can tables and what we call repeating groups. So I have the ability with this product to capture a lot of different types of data off of any documents that come into the system. Sure that I've got it as accurate as possible, though, is I have additional checks that I can build into the system to really ensure that the data that we're capturing is correct. So I can date against the data format. So if I'm looking for a date in this field, I can make sure that that's a date. If I'm looking for a Social Security number, I can make sure that that matches the Social Security number layout, so that I verify that we've got the right types of data in fields that we're capturing. Because I can go validate any of that data against data that you already have in an existing database. Think about how powerful it is to be able to look at someone's policy number. And if I read the policy number, I can go out to your data and find their address, their date of birth, whatever piece of information I want, and verify that that all matches up correctly. And when I can do that, then I'm very confident that the information on the document is correct because I've captured it, I've read it, and I verified against existing data it matches. So it gives a great deal of validation in what we're trying to do. I can add up numbers within a document, make sure that they match up. Normally I can do custom scripts, so I can do any kind of rules basis that I want to create using my script. It gives me a way to only capture the data more quickly without manually entering it. I can also do a lot of verification in the background to make sure that it's accurate. So the third way I can verify it is for information that the system is unsure of, I've got the ability to have a person look at it and verify what was on the document, that we've got the right data. And so there's some different ways that verification takes place. Is I can do is through kind of a group. So if I have a lot of check boxes, what this is going to mean is all of these boxes here were marked as checked. Is that correct? And if they all are, you say yes and you go on. If one of those, someone had actually just scribbled it out, you could uncheck that box and move on from there. I can also call field verification, where I can just look at each individual field documents. I'll see what was read. And below what I've read here, you'll see the actual snippet of the image. So it gives me the ability to compare what the system has read to what the image looks like, and I can make a correction there if I need to. Also, verification as a full document, and the vast majority of our customers do it this way. It gives me the ability to see the whole document, see all the data points with the document. I can force certain fields to be verified every time. So if I'm doing the enrollment form, I want to make sure I've got the right Social Security number. I can force that field to be verified on every document just to make sure that we're absolutely sure we've got it correct. I could also have that Social Security number double entered, so I make sure that was correct. I have the ability with this to set what parts of the document any individual can verify. So I have a person that has a higher security clearance in my mind, or a more trustworthy associate. They may see Social Security number and other things. So not be able to see those fields, so they would never be presented those fields during the verification. The system is smart enough to pass only data along that they are allowed to see during the verification process. So it's very sophisticated how you can create security and make sure that you're maintaining the integrity of the data for your customers. Okay. So through all the steps here, we've scanned it, or we've brought it in as an electronic image. On the classification, figured out what type of document it is. We read the data off of the document. We identified anything that we weren't sure about. And the final step is, in the background, is we're able to release these images and the data off to your back-end systems. So we can export the images as TIFFs or PDFs. We can export the data to any database that you may have. We go to SharePoint. We do your ECM, so if you have a FileNet or an IBM or document, doesn't matter, we're able to release those documents to it. And more importantly, we have the ability to release the documents and the data to multiple places all at the same time. So if I've got data that needs to go to our mainframe system, because that's where all of our data is stored that we work from, I can go there. I could also send the images plus a few data fields to your imaging system for archival and long-term storage. And I could send another copy to your workflow system so that the document could pass through the workflow process. So it gives us a great deal of flexibility in doing that. That's an overview of the product and some of the technology that's available. At this point, I'm going to turn this over to Alan Toker, who's our system engineer, and I'm going to do a brief demo of the product so you can get a feel for how it looks and how it works.
All right. Can you my screen switch over?
Yeah, I can see Alan, you're in good shape.
Okay, good. Right. What you're looking at here is the standalone version of the ABBYY FlexiCapture product. It is a single workstation standalone installation. It's all the same functionality as the distributed version. How the distributed version, as its name is distributed. There are various services on one or more servers, and workstations bring up various capabilities. And some of what you will see here is actually handled by a service so there is generally no interface. But here, standalone one, everything is all in front of us all at once. So what here is a group of documents. These were all brought into this system together. You can see in this first column, identified, it says banking, contract. This is the classification that Tim was talking about. When it came into the system, it looked at and divided them up based on the rules that have been set up to the different types of documents. And you can see there's these definitions which match up with those names there. The screen is showing me is what the next step is for each document. So for instance, most of them you can see are waiting for verification. There's here that say export. In other words, the rules for those have been satisfied automatically, and if I had it set that way, they would be automatically exported. I could set it so I never even see them. They go right through the system. Columns here showing me various statistics of confidence level in the document. You can see the export ones are 100%. Information different ways. It's showing me how many characters it's uncertain of for each document, how many characters need to be for verification. So there are different ways of seeing the same information. So I'm going to start here. I think I'm going to start with a structured document. And this happens to be a survey, and it's structured because even the data written by hand, the survey form itself, as I scroll down, you can see is a structured document. Everything is in the same place all the time. So my document, it identified it as that, and these are the fields that it was set up to read. It's not sure about it are indicated in various ways. In this case, there's an ed here. For whatever reason, it's questioning, and things with underlines. So, for instance, this first one here, let me get back up to that field. It's a miss, and it just wants me to verify that that is correct. Fields here, you can see that it read the name, it read the last name, all information off of the form. We get here zip code, and it's 46. It's read a 76. So all you need to do is correct it, and then just hit enter. That goes to I don't know if you can see it, but it's a light green, indicating that it's been corrected. There are ways I can go from field to field, or I could go from item that needs to be checked to each item. I can skip through the way I want. Let's see what else we have here. They also set up, there's two image fields here. This is some sort of a stamp, and here's a signature or initials. Yes, that's a signature. And they can pull those off of here, and these images could be saved into separate files. That was what you needed for to in some systems show proof that it had the stamp or it had the signature on it. In other areas, and it's similar things. For instance, here we have checkboxes. Group here. Lost track of where I am. Form. Here we go. All right. So down here are my checkboxes. It's looking to see what has been done. If nothing is, in this case, here's the Euro MasterCard, and there. Whoop, I had it there and I moved it. Sorry. Here it is. Here's the card, and I have a drop-down here, so I could change this if necessary. If I look and say, oh no, that wasn't the one that was selected, I can use that and override what it looked like on the form. We let's see other similar things, and it's not anything off that last page. Let's go on to another document. Here's a similar document. You can see this one. It's the same form. It's just different. And this is showing me here is that it was set up to compare the first name in 3 places. It appears in 3 different places on the form. And what it's checking is to say, did it read them all the same? Now it looks like it's HAL is correct. That one is correct. When I do the next one, I see that NIHAL is correct. And when I say, here's the problem, it didn't read it correctly, and the was an and to type that would have been correct. IHAL. I do that. Now you can see that error message that was at the bottom disappeared because all 3 of those forms match each other, or those fields match each other. Okay. Let's go different form type here. This would be an unstructured document. As told here was to find the contract number, the date, and pull those off of the document. And since it's printed, so they're very clear. You can see that's why it went to 100%, because there wasn't anything else to be done. Here's the next one. It's a different type of, but again, it's looking for things like the word contract here and the contract date. So while they're all slightly different, doing the same work and doing it without me needing to do anything. This is an example of a semi-structured document. You can see here we're pulling all kinds of information. We've got name, dates, company, address, total down here at the bottom. Then we're pulling this table of information in the middle here. And by the way, you can see it goes between 2 pages. But in the output, this would all be one export if that's how I'd set it up. Move a different invoice and see the different design. Pull an invoice and it still knows what an invoice looks like. And a structured document, and invoices are good examples of those. You can pull information even though the documents are not identical. And here's a 3rd type, 4th, they're all a bunch of those. And again, this is our, I guess, our unstructured document. What has been told to do was to pull date, who sent the letter, and that information would be exported along with the document to whatever system it was required. So, and here's a last type of document here, and you see it's just a similar to our invoice in a way. We're pulling the name and we're pulling all the details off of the tables. And not only the names, but we're also pulling the prices here. This is where Tim was talking about, for instance, if there was a, it doesn't have, but if there was a tool on this, you could have it pull the value off the document, also have it add up all these numbers and compare to see does the calculated total match the total that is read, which gives you a higher count level that it's read it correctly. Those, in a nutshell, that is what it's doing. I really can't show you the different export, but export can be defined. There's a variety of thin exports, spreadsheets, text files, things like that. It knows about databases, and there's always the the scripting where it's basically a custom built export, but anything that has been pulled from here is able to be exported, and you can, once you have the data in this mat here, you can do whatever you need with it. I think that's all I've got. So if you want to take that back.
Thanks, Ed. I think Olivia's putting the phones up, so we'll see if anybody has any questions. All right, I think everyone.
Okay, everyone's off of mute, so feel free to ask any questions you may have.
All right, are there any questions? Okay, well, thank you all for your time today. We appreciate you spending it with us. If you have questions later or you think of anything, please feel free to contact Olivia or your salesperson that you work with. If you'd like to talk about a more specialized demo, we're happy to do those as well if we want to do one specifically. So just let us know if anything we can do to help. Appreciate your time. Everybody have a nice afternoon.